Hinduan judge who was added to the case and confirmed to be the judge that was going to handle this whole trial. And I told you, based on the way he has been conducting this trial, it was very consistent of a judge that doesn't have control of the situation. He doesn't want to have control over the situation. He doesn't want anything to fall on him. He's not able to make the tough decisions that need to be made in a court of this magnitude. Anytime you get to a trial of this magnitude, you need somebody that's going to be there to, lay down the law, so to speak, right? And this guy isn't that type of individual. Now, if you look at Sean Diddy Combs and what he's got to deal with now, dealing with Judge Subramanain, and how he's come into the case and decided that he's gonna, not without even hearing what the person had to say, dismiss the black juror. And Diddy's legal team is trying to say, with this district, they're known for discriminating against black and Latino people as far as disqualifying them and saying a lot of them don't want to be jurors. And here you have one that steps up and is doing the job, and your first thought is, let's dismiss him. This is a bad precedence for this district that has a bad reputation for not representing people of color. And then when a black man is fighting for his life, when you're talking about a person of color, and you're looking at all of these different scenarios popping up, and here it is, a black man of color is dealing with all of the fallout of all the nonsense that's been going on, all circling and based on this case. You're looking at a monumental, devastating, circumstantial events taking place. This judge just wants this case to be over, Diddy to be found guilty, let him file an appeal so he can get the hell away from the case. He just wants nothing to do with this case no more. It's clear. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Please. Hit that like button up. Oh, yeah, and like we said on the Patreon, we gave them the business. We gave y'all all the business today. So today, y'all got the secret life of Jeff Bezos. Stuff you didn't know. And today, you got Kanye and Diddy explain all the stuff they was trying to black out while I was talking. You'll find it on the video today on the Patreon. Carcino for Life Patreon. That's what's up. Now, let's get to the grease. Because I'm tired, man. I really am. I'm aggravatedly tired. It's been so much nonsense happening to the point where, it's disturbing. Because it's so much. It's been happening for so long and been going on for so long. When you see a lot of corruption, you naturally feel impartial to it. See, look at this guy. Once he got on the scene and they changed judges and got him in here, this is what we was talking about. And all Diddy team said is like, look, at least let the man explain himself. And he was, he deceived the courtroom because he wanted to be he wanted to be a juror. Yeah, he wanted to be a juror. You know how many jurors wanted to be here? The man hasn't done anything wrong since he's been there. He's been on time. He ain't been late. You see, black folks they don't all have a family at home and His daughter live in Jersey. He come back and forth from work, Jersey to New York. So a lot of people that live in New York work in Jersey. It's people that's on the Jersey belt line work in New York. It's like, dude, he kind of there, he kind of here. It ain't no lies. It's a gray area because that's what he's doing. So what he's saying is like, yeah, I really do live in the Bronx, but my baby moms and my girl, they over in Jersey, so they got a crib there. I stay there a couple of nights, but my mail is coming to the Bronx still. So it's a whole different scenario. This guy's trying to make it like, oh, they trying to deceive the public in the world. This Judge Subramanain. But see, that's what I was telling y'all before with these judges and where they coming from. Now, they want to stop y'all from hearing it because they like, you talking about a federal judge. No, I'm telling the truth about what the judge just did. Diddy said, look, and what's just, it's clear, it ain't like it's a big secret. Y'all are not good in the department when it comes to your district with dealing with people of color. And here it is, a man of color is fighting for his life. You got somebody on the jury because this jury is not really comprised of anybody that wouldn't send him to jail. Latinos and blacks have had a hard time in this whole entire thing when it came to getting justice or having the right proper say. Getting an impartial jury is very hard to do. And especially when you have jurors who would normally get sick, they have alternates. And he was like, well, we got alternates. My thing is, why are they so adamant about the switch? There's no need to be adamant about the switch. That's why I tell people all the time, like, what is the big hula about the switch for? They could have done this at any time, people. This is why I always and often tell them, if you're going to make a change, make the change. Don't dibble and dabble about it. If this the change you're going to make, then make the change. But at least hear what the man has to say. Let him come in the courtroom. Let him present himself. What's the harm in that? The prosecution can't wait to get him out of there. Why? Why is it so important that that man is gone from the trial? That's what I want to know. Why was it so important to have that man removed from the case? That's what the people in the general public need to know, and they need to figure out real fast when it comes to a decision. Why was it so adamantly important that that man is removed? That's what people need to figure out. I didn't say it was a huge blow. Whoa, this thing was on the whole time? I didn't say that was the hugest blow or like that was the death blow for Diddy. Ain't nobody said nothing like that. What I'm saying is people got to start getting their ducks in a row. Like, What is it that people want to do? I really didn't see a situation where one side was greater than the other. You know what I mean? You know how some people say, you know, one side will be greater than the other side. I really didn't have anything loose to say about the judge, except for I was nervous when they changed judges, and I could tell from the way he was letting things slide in court, and just from the transcripts, you can see he's trying to be fair to both sides, and they're manipulating him. The prosecution is manipulating him and playing on those tropes of you're taking his kindness for weakness, and they're just exploiting him. Now, if you got a real decisive judge, he would have called this a mistrial a long time ago. This judge is never going to call a mistrial because he's too scared. No, why does it have to be a mistrial? You could just cross-examine them and ask them. No. They knew what they were doing, and they did this error in judgment that happened in this case, where they put a woman on the stand who clearly was perjuring herself. So you knew this woman would come up here and spew this garbage that had nothing to do with the case, because y'all case is weak. Y'all have no real evidence. The guns came up doo-doo. You're coming up doo-doo on the guns. So it's like none of this stuff they had was concrete. Okay, drug use for personal usage. Okay, so what are you gonna do? You didn't catch him with drugs on his persons. I'm telling you, man, they are struggling here to prove their point in this case. And because they're struggling to prove their point in the case, a lot of things became moot very fast. Now, no, I didn't feel that the people that was supposed to represented to the fullest. I really didn't. I felt that they played an angle. They played an angle that didn't make a lot of sense to everybody else in the general public of the world. They looked at it like, who is these clowns? Because that's the way they presented themselves. They didn't present themselves as legitimate people. They presented themselves like clowns. I have often banged my fist on the ground saying, when are we gonna see something real? Like in this case, like real solid evidence. Everybody kind of say, oh, just wait. We have waited 6 months and we have gotten nothing. A nothing burger. All this stuff we was promised that we was gonna hear, a solid case, we have nothing. They got 2 more witnesses to go through, and so far they have proved nothing. They haven't proven a RICO. They haven't proven a conspiracy. There's no profit. Now they finna bring up the drug mule. He's supposed to come to the stand. He's gonna be the one, a drug mule is gonna be the guy to lock this thing all in? Who's gonna take the word of a drug mule? This case stinks to high heaven. It's wicked. It's deplorable. And it's a shame. Because this is not justice. It's not justice at all. What this is a poor example of what happens when things don't go your way. Man, we were so hyped. Oh my God, we were so hyped. We saw people coming in, doing what they were doing. We was getting all excited. We was really hyped. And then we saw all this evidence come out. Well, what they called evidence, this testimony. And we listening to Don Richards. We listening to these cases. I'm reading the court notes. I'm seeing that every time the defense have something that they want to go over or present, they want to cut it out the exhibits. And I'm like, why do they keep cutting these things out of the exhibit when they have total merit here to the case? Like, if Cassie said she's afraid of guns and don't like guns, she's posing with guns and putting a gun in her mouth for a photo shoot. Diddy stopped her career? How? How would he do that? When you still was, after y'all stopped dating, you was still doing modeling gigs. They had proof of it. You stopped yourself because you weren't really an artist. You didn't care about making songs and CDs. That's what your friend said. Like, Cassie didn't care about that. Cassie would rather do what she was doing now than being in the studio all day. She was not somebody who wanted to be a musician or an artist. That wasn't Cassie's life. She had zero concern on being an artist. Ryan Leslie found her at a party in a bar. They changed the story before and made it sound like, oh, she was singing at this bar and he saw her and heard her sing and said, oh, that girl's got talent. That was a lie. She was at a birthday party for somebody and she was dancing on a table. And he was like, oh, hey, who was that girl? She's fine. So he started talking to her and that's how he met her. And then she was going to make a song and he was like, hey, why don't you make a record? Like, he was dating a chick and she's, I don't know. I only sing for my mom. I want to make my mom a record. Can I make my mom a record? He was like, yeah, we could do that. So she went in the studio and she recorded a song they made together. And it's ended up on her album. So he put it on. He went to Tommy Mottola. Went to Tommy Mottola's office. And he was like, who is this? And he was like, oh, this is my girl, you know. She's like, I made a song for my mom. Dude, that dude said, Tommy Mottola was like, oh, no. Song for your mama? Oh, heck, forget that. Oh, no. Forget those songs for my mama. No, we ain't doing that. They was like, then what we're doing? No, we doing songs for you. So this is our new artist. He started telling everybody Cassie was the new artist just because of the way she looked. He was like, I can get writers. You teach her how to dance and everything. This is why I keep telling you, Cassie is talentless. Only thing she is good for is her looks. Ryan Leslie told you get her in a studio, she's bored. She can't, the whole process of waiting around, she does not have what it takes to be a musician. She just wants to come in and sing. She thought it was just like, man, we come do this for a half hour, then I can go out and do my thing. I can do some shopping. So she was not ever in the frame of mind of being that kind of artist. See, everybody thinks it's cool, like, oh man, I want to be a rapper, until they actually realize they got to do some work and seeing how hard it is. They're like, oh yeah, it's pretty hard, dude. It's like, no kidding. Why do you think most brothers choose rapping? Think it's easy. They ain't got to change their lifestyle. Shoot, I ain't got to stop smoking weed. I can drink. Shoot, I can just be me and then lay on the couch, spit a couple bars and go to sleep. This is easy. Then they get to a professional studio and have to go that route. then it's a whole different world. So, I've seen it constantly my entire life. People who have so much talent and waste it, and people who have no talent and they try to make them into something. Manufacture them. That's why it took so long for Cassie to come out. Like, Cassie was such a successful artist. No, she wasn't. They spent more money and wasted more money on Cassie than anybody. So at least she was working it off with the freak off. She should have said thank you. Be like, you working off a debt. All the money she didn't bring no money in. Like, what money was Cassie bringing in? Nobody buying a Cassie record. They put on GTA, everything. I'm like, dang, she's on GTA. Oh, yeah. They don't, nobody really cares about any of that stuff. You know what they care about? People care about winning. You know what I'm saying? People care about winning. That's it. They overreacting pretty much. Look at the situation though. While everybody's saying, oh, they overreacting, look at the situation. What are they overreacting to? Right? They only overreacting to the situation that they have to deal with that's presented in front of them. But this judge, it is his job to do his job. It ain't about, hey, I gave y'all one, I gotta give them one. It ain't about that. It's about the law, and calling this thing down the middle is not the way to do it. Just do your job. That's the only thing I'm saying. I know you scared because you don't want to be the one to throw this case out, and then your name will be grass. And he's kind of a novice at this, so that's why I'm like, why would they choose him? Like, why would they choose this judge? That was another thing that was kind of strange to me. Like, this person was chosen, which was kind of out there a little bit. But it was like, okay. So that's what they want to do, that's fine. Now, I don't know what these people are inspiring to be. Some of them, like, they act like they're so victims and like they're the nicest people. If you look at all these people that they put on the stand, that's why they don't want to be, like, having their name blocked off. It's like, do you really think that's going to work? These people know who these people are, and it's going to be all over the internet. Now, Teaser tells, she went ahead and doxed the Mia girl. Academics just doxed the Jane girl. So nothing's happened to them. But yet everybody else y'all want to go after and threaten them. I find that quite interesting. It's like, wow, so y'all chose to go after the people who had the most to say when things was going down, right? The people who had the least to say when things was getting hot and going down. Nobody else said another word. Now, granted, there's been several people. How you doing? There's been several people saying different things about what the judge should do, but when I'm seeing exhibits getting not disclosed to the public, but they're able to present everything that they want to do, or the majority of it, and the little stuff that he says no to, he's just, trying to play favors to make it look like he's not on their side. And I told y'all, the judge is always on the side of the prosecution. Some judges try to make a name for themselves, like, look, I don't care about y'all. And some judges have a good relationship with people that used to be state's attorneys. That's why I always look to see, was there a former state's attorney who becomes a criminal lawyer? I might need them because they have some pull in the courtroom, and they can get it in front of a judge that it's more likely they can work with. Because the court system, believe me, does not usually work the way you think. It's all about relationships. It's all about who's okay with who. This person, I don't really like them that much, but everybody else is okay. So it's a lot of scenarios. And I don't like problems. Oh, they over here doing they worst to try to mess with the live stream. I know what they doing, but I don't care. Why do deliveries when I can come here and do this myself? Hit the like button up, y'all. For real, hit the like button. Super chat work. Yes, sir. Always, always. Now, no, I saw it firsthand, because what you start to see is that there are a lot of different elements brought to the table that has nothing to do with the case itself. Now, no, nobody cares about that. Listen, nobody cares about that part of the case, man. When they come out and they say things like, oh, this case is just not going the way we thought. It's like, really? How did you think this case was going? And people are like, well, where's the evidence? We thought we was going to be seeing some underage stuff, and like, what's going on here? And they was like, oh, we never said that was in our case. See how they work that around? They never said it was in this case. That's some whole other cases. But see, that's the rude awakening for them. See, that's what's waiting for them that they don't even know about. Oh, those too small. See, that's what they're not prepared for. See, what they've been dealing with is that brand X. They ain't dealing with the real. Because if they was dealing with the real, then they would know. This is the way we roll, we roll. This is the way we roll. Yeah, they've been using brand X. Well, when you start seeing things that don't usually add up, you give your opinion rather than an observational fact. What you want to do is make sure that you're always in control of your situation and your environments. You want to make sure you always are doing what you think is the right thing to do, not basically what someone else believes is the right thing to do, if that makes sense to you. I just wish that they did something that made sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish they did something that made sense. If it didn't make sense, then it shouldn't be, added to the equation. That's the way I look at it. Give me something that makes sense. This whole case, like, why is Don Richard's testimony still standing when it was clear it was full of hearsay? It's clear. Nothing has been substantially detailed. Talking about we wore sunglasses because she had a black eye. We did that in solidarity. Says who? Because y'all wearing sunglasses, she had a black eye under it? We can't see that. Like, all of that should have been stricken from the record. Like, the whole testimony should have been removed. Then you're putting police officers on the stand who have no information, who weren't the police officers. They don't know who went in the house and did what. Seriously? It was like, why is this guy here? He's here to just tell you, did you guys find this? Yep, we found that. Was you the first guy in there? Did you collect the evidence? No, I did not. Well, why are you here? You feel me? So you see where it's like, what are we doing here? Is we having a trial, or are we just having a basically public humiliation of Sean Diddy Combs? I just like for things to be clear. So what I would appreciate is for What I would appreciate is for a lot of these uh, judges to do their job. This is it's a major case. So and because it's so popular, the judge is showing that he's affected by everything that's going on. So it's been terrible. You know, the whole lineup has been completely just off the rails, off the grid, and a lot of things have just been unstable. So if you start looking at what people want, what people are expecting to get or connected to, I would always go in a different direction than what the majority of the people do. I don't really follow what the majority of everybody else say. But what you're starting to see is that this judge is not on the up and up. He's trying to appease everybody. And you just can't do that. This case should have been called a mistrial. And he was like, look, you can appeal and then call a mistrial with another judge. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get through this case. You know, see, he's determined to just get through the case no matter what. So I already knew they had it ironclad with that doggone liar they put on there, that, what's her name? Bianca or whatever. Putting her lying ass on the stand when Diddy wasn't even in town. That really hurt their case. They were done. Because there's no wiggle room for that. None. So if you got no wiggle room to get out of that situation, like what you just presented yourself with, good luck trying to chase to find something else that suffice, because you can't get there. I don't know how many different or other people were involved in the situation. I'm just saying, if you want to participate into said scenarios, then ask yourself, why all the people they got is so sketchy? Why is Jane Doe running around out here right, sleeping with people for money? These the most righteous people? These the people we supposed to respect? Since when? No one is supposed to put their hands on another person in a violent way. No one's ever going to champion that, but just because that happened, there's still a case going on. There's still a situation to be dealt with. They don't mean it's all over just because she got some knots on her head. You know, it's not the end of the case. So that was that. Now, everyone's going to try to run a narrative. It's up to you to be able to say, all right, well, this narrative's not going to work for me. You know, all right, it's not here in this house, it's probably up. Yeah, it's not gonna work for me. But I tell when you're working with the prosecutor and they just taking advantage of you, and they run that like little girl temper tantrum. But Your Honor, they've been doing that all trial, running that. But they've been able to get away with this, Your Honor. It's not fair. And then he come up with something goofy and turn the tide. I mean, of course, who wouldn't be frustrated? I know I'll be frustrated. You keep falling for this same old routine. It's like, really? That what we doing? You gonna just keep falling for the same old okie doke play? I thought he was getting like he was noticing that they was manipulating him, and he was getting stern when she tried to talk, and he was like, she cut him off, and he was like, hey, I was still talking. It was like, oh, okay, he finally waking up. Now, I tried to tell them a long time ago, but nobody wanted to listen to me. You gotta know what you're getting yourself into. That's how I look at it. I'll be like, man, y'all gotta know what y'all getting into. You know what I'm saying? Know what you're getting yourself into. If you signed up to be the judge in this case, you should know what you're getting yourself into from day one, from 21 Jump Street. This should be no mystery to nobody.
Oh, okay.
All right, I just want to see him call it down the line. It's too obvious what he's doing. And you remove a juror, you know, what the optics is gonna look like when this is over. If he's found guilty and you threw out a guy who was black, a male, and he was on the jury, and you throw him out, how is that gonna look? What that looks like? What that represents? What's the dynamic of it though? You know, like, okay, you've done that part, you did this part. What's the dynamics? Well, a lot of people popped up and they started, you know, right, they start making their own opinions. Man, people got their family there. They have all different situations going on. Nobody thinking about crazy nonsense like what y'all talking about. Nobody got time for it.
Hey Siri. Text sister.
All right, nobody got time for that. What they got time for, you don't. That's the real. What they got time for, you do not. I'm like, that man got different situations. You didn't even hear him out. That's why I'm like, damn, you didn't even hear the man out. So you mean to tell me You don't have to hear the man and hear what he has to say. Let him come in front of the court, tell everybody what the situation is, so that the defense who's sitting there listening to all this can say, all right, let's make a decision or not make a decision. But two things for certain, one thing's for absolutely for sure. This was not the way to go. 100% was not the way to go.
Oh, if you did this course. Yeah.
They were absolutely not on the same page. I've said it countless times. It's like, how many times do you need somebody to get you ready for something? You know, like, you're a judge. Your job is to go off what's presented. Don't show favoritism. Just do your job. That's all I ask for a judge. Just do your job. That's it. Now, if the case just happens to be a mistrial, it was on the prosecution. They didn't do their due diligence, and yes, that was enough for a mistrial. They don't get a spanking on the hand and say, I'm gonna give y'all this. But you gotta tell them that some of the testimony they perjury. If the grounds for a mistrial, then you tell them, okay, they can't bring the person's name up in the situation because their stature. Now, I understand that what happened at that other freak off did not involve, like, if there's no charges around that, but it's definitely relevant. So they were able to ask questions about it. So for that one, I understood. That made sense. The explanation made sense. Now, if the explanation didn't make any sense, then you can raise an eyebrow. But the explanation didn't make sense as to why they didn't get involved. Because the freak off that they was talking about, that the music icon was at, and they watching Anton over there, had nothing to do. It's not a charge compared to that. That was Diddy wasn't there, had nothing to do with the case. But it has presence to her being at one. So definitely they were allowed to speak on it. Well, it all depends. You know, you can say what you want, but the law is the law. I understand you wanting to help out and assist, but you've been helping out and assisting a lot. Oh yeah, the whole case has been like that. Listen, when you want everything to fall in place, or say we want everything to fall in line, there's a scenarios, there's a great deal of interference, there's a great deal of nonsense that comes into play. But when you start talking about the law, all you want at the end of the day is the judge to do his job. And that's to keep us moving, keep everybody on point, keep it all flowing. Like I told you, call my buddy who was my lawyer at one time. That's how he became my buddy. I told him, I said, hey, I'm never gonna need you again. He was like, that's what I want to hear. And I never had to hire him again. But he's taught me so much about the law. And whenever I got a question, I would call him. So I decided to pick up the phone, give him a call, and then I asked him about the judge. I asked him what did he think about the judge. And he said, I clearly believe the judge has been manipulated by the prosecution, or he's working with them, or he was selected for this case because of their inexperience. He said the prosecution has made some miscues, and he said the defense has made some miscues. He said the defense wasn't as prepared as they should have been, and they should have challenged a lot of the things that were being brought up in cross. Nah, that's okay. If I need it, I'll get it later. Yep. Yeah, so he's calling it down the line. He said the defense should have challenged some things that he would have done. And instead of complaining to the judge, they should have handled it in cross. Because now once they off the stand, it's too late. You should have handled it in cross. And he's like, I would have just handled it in cross and then let the judge reprimand me if there's a problem. But if I got a question, I'm not going to save it and wait till they leave the stand. That just doesn't make any sense. So he said the defense has some miscues on their side as well, but none as much as the prosecution. They made monumental mistakes that could have the case dismissed entirely. And he felt that the games they were playing was very dangerous as far as, pre-judiciary reasons that they can get a mistrial for. So I have to insert. Okay. Man, I went off today. I know. All right, thanks. Yeah, I just went crazy shopping. See, I just spent way too much money in here. I thought Trump was supposed to make things better. Trump, these prices ain't working, bro. It was cheaper with Biden. Well, when you're dealing with you're dealing with a situation that doesn't benefit you, then you start to see the light, right? You notice they keep sabotaging my live stream. Why would they do that, you say? Why would they want to do such a thing? Why do they want to mess with my life? Me no do nothing wrong. Screw face. Me no screw face. Oh no. It has nothing to do with him being a Muslim or Hindu. He's actually Hindu, by the way. And no, it has nothing to do with that. It only has something to do with oh yeah. Now, everyone was not happy with the said situation. Like, people were being idiots. Society was not on their side for anything, to be honest. Man, these people don't care. Like I always told you, I want to see the man do his job. Is that hard to ask? No. Or at least I don't believe it is. Well, you'll have some people saying I got a lot to work with. So do y'all think the judge is doing a good job? Yes or no? Do y'all think the judge is doing a good job? Hmm? And that's what I'm talking about. Haven't been paying too much attention. That's fair. Okay, so the majority of people are seeing it like I'm seeing it. Okay, the judge is not, I don't feel he's doing a good job of keeping control. I think he is allowing himself to be manipulated by the prosecution a little too much. He's going for that, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. He's falling victim to that. And it's making him look bad as far as, being an authoritative figure. I'm serious. Like, if somebody is of authority and they have a presence, then this doesn't happen. You see what I'm saying? Trust me, I've been in there where the judge has told the prosecution to shut up. Like, shut up. I'm talking. Now, this is what's going to happen here. Why don't we know this? Why is this not on my desk? Why is it not in the docket? They get to the point. So the prosecution know they can't play around. They pissing the judge off. And if you pissing the judge off, you done already messed up. Yes, if I get groceries, I'm probably going to go back to the crib. I don't think I'm going to go out and kick it. When, it's like, what the hell you was hoping for? To get rammed into? I'm like, what they waiting on? That's why I hate these drivers, man. They be sitting there right on the turn, and they just stop. I'm like, what the hell are you stopping for? Keep going. They be right the turn, got the signal going, they stopped right there. It's like, dude, make the turn, then make your decision. Like, I'm gonna wait here and see if he runs into the back of me. Like, is that what you think finna happen? Yeah, the world could be crazy, man. Angel Sessions, what's up? So go to my Casino for Life Patreon and enjoy what's over there. We got some great things coming out that I think you guys would enjoy. That's why we put it out there. And I'm gonna go put these groceries up, finish washing these clothes, and we're gonna move on from there. All right. Love, peace, and hair grease.